Candidate of the ACPN.
Well, I thank God that the sitting government has not signed the agreement, because the agreement will not be in the interest of this country. And I say so because presently, so much is not going on in our economy, especially in our industries. And any program or policy that will turn Nigeria into dumping ground for goods from other countries and cripple the local industries would not be in the interest of us. It is a good thing that as brothers that will trade with each other, but are we going to get equal advantage from them? Now, most of our industries that were most of the industries that were formerly based in this country are relocated to Benin, Togo, and some other neighboring countries. So what will it benefit Nigeria with the highest population and a very big market in Africa? I think the proper thing is for Nigerian government to put the signing of the agreement on hold until the economy of this country improves and our manufacturer industries are thriving.
Thank you very much. Candidate of YPP.
Thank you very much. As where Nigeria is standing today, I don't think it's a wise decision to go sign in such kind of agreement. We have advantage of population. If at all, Nigeria today will try to inject some funds. Let's even start with the state level, where each and every state in Nigeria, let's not even talk about the natural resources. You can see that each and every state in Nigeria have something, one thing or the other that they are producing that's different from what we used to have all over the world. If at all we will inject some amount or some investment into such kind of businesses or such kind of creativity into each and every state, definitely we will get what we want, but that's when the country will be very, very strong in production. That's when such kind of policies will favor Nigeria. But not at this stage we are, where Nigeria doesn't produce much and our export activity is very, very low. Thank you very much.
Yes, candidate of the PDP.
Thank you very much. Like I said before, our government will be demand-driven, not supply-driven. That means you need to consult the people. Be at the stage of planning, not at the stage of signing. You say, oh, well, we need to go and consult the people. We will do it before we get to that stage. Two, you don't need to fear about China's transshipment. That shows inefficiency. Labor is more expensive in China today than it is in Nigeria. In fact, we have 87 million people who don't have jobs. So if goods that are manufactured in China can leave China and you pay the high shipment, including duty clearing, and it's cheaper than what you manufacture, something is wrong here. So you fix it. And look at it, let me just give you an example. Just Apapa, to bring our goods in Apapa, costs more than it costs to bring the goods from Europe to here.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Transport.
Thank you. Yes. Candidate of the APC.
Yes, I think my rebuttal is simple. Question really is that the Continental Free Trade Area has been negotiated for years. The negotiation started even under the previous government. So the question of consultation or not consultation and when it ought to have taken place really could have taken place many years ago when they started these negotiations. Second point is that labor is not the only factor of production. It's not the only cost. So the mere fact that labor is cheaper in Nigeria than China doesn't mean that goods produced in Nigeria will be cheaper than China. What is going on today, for example, is that if you import rice from China, it will still be cheaper because a lot of their rice is stored up there and is heavily subsidized as well, just as from America. Second point is that we still have issues around power. Power is a major cost. That's one of the reasons why we're investing so heavily in transmission and generation and trying our best to do with distribution. So there are many other costs. It's not just about labor. I mean, if you talk about labor, that's just one single cost. There are so many other costs. So dumping is a major issue.
Thank you very much. Let me stay with you, candidate of the APC. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria is very passionate about 41 items that have been excluded from the forex market. Only recently, another item, fertilizer, was added. Is it a good policy in your view?
Well, let me say, first of all, that the Central Bank of Nigeria is independent in terms of its own activities. And I really cannot change or not change their policies. But let me say to you that just take some of the examples. Toothpicks, for example, have been imported into Nigeria. Fertilizer, which we have now cracked with the collaboration we have with Morocco, we are now able to deliver fertilizer at half the cost. So you have fertilizer now as some 6,000, 7,000. At some point, it was about 12,000, 13,000, even higher. So you can no longer do that. And rice is also another example. We were importing practically all of our rice. As I said, $5 million of rice every single day. Today, we're no longer doing so. We've encouraged local production by preventing a situation where anybody can simply go and buy rice. And simply go and open a FOMEM and bring in rice. So if you're going to protect local industry, if you're going to protect local activity, then you need to do something like what you may need to do something, such as what the CBN is doing. Final point on that is that where you have a situation such as we have today, these 41 items, it is not a ban on those items. All that the CBN is saying is you can't come to us for foreign exchange. You can go and source your foreign exchange wherever you want, but you can't come to the CBN for foreign exchange for these items where they believe, which they believe can be produced locally. So that really is the point.
Thank you very much. Candidate of the ANN. Now, Nigeria is perhaps the only oil-producing country in the world today that imports petroleum products. This is because our refineries are not performing optimally.
Our refineries?
Now, our refineries are not performing optimally, and so we have to export crude and import refined products. What would you do as Vice President or your government if you get elected? Would you build new refineries?
PPP. To upgrade, it's trying to build refineries. I don't see why, as a country, if the systems are well developed and the processes are strengthened, why we should be bringing in petroleum when we are the ones that have all that. What we should be looking at is building more refineries in the country, expanding on those, and asking the private sector to get involved. Also asking international communities to collaborate with us on how to ensure that the petroleum sector is well strengthened. And also the infrastructure aspect of building the refineries, ensuring that the huge transparency cloud ICT system will be encouraged, so that all the processes and the systems will be transparent enough for everybody to see what's going on, for the common man to know what is going on in the petroleum sector. Right now, a lot of things are not being transparent, and we don't know. But what we want to do differently is to ensure that more refineries are built, more PPP are established, and also to ensure that the diversification, we should not depend at all on petroleum. We should diversify our economy in agriculture, in ensuring that we have more industry, and so on and so forth.